The music department's steel band concert is coming up next week and promises to be a memorable one.
Will the rain ever go down the drain? Find out more on My Full Weather.
And the Portales PD is asking for the community's help to find a missing woman. All that and more right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Welcome back to this semester's final broadcast of News 3 New Mexico. I'm Drake Long.
And I'm Samantha Stressman. Thank you so much for watching.
A local Portales woman has gone missing. The Portales Police Department is asking for the community's help to find and bring home 23-year-old Idalia Morin. The police department has said that they are concerned for her safety, so finding her is of the utmost importance. Morin is described to be 5'2" with brown eyes. She also has a tattoo on her right wrist that says, "Love is love." Anyone who has information about the whereabouts of Morin can call the Portales Police Department's non-emergency line at 575-356-4404. Yesterday at around 5:38 p.m., the Clovis Police Department received multiple calls regarding shots fired in the area of 10th and Prince Street. When officers arrived on scene, they found a black car in an alleyway. And when officers tried to contact the vehicle, it fled, leaving bullet casings behind. After an attempted traffic stop, the driver, later identified as Andrew Roldan, age 39, did not stop and wove in and out of several neighborhoods, after that fleeing onto the US 70 towards Portales. During the chase, he crossed the median and began to drive into oncoming traffic, ultimately stopping because his vehicle became undrivable. Officers took Roldan into custody, and his vehicle was seized while detectives of the CPD generated and executed a search warrant for the vehicle's contents. A Beretta 9mm pistol was recovered from the vehicle, and bullet casings at the scene were of the same caliber. Roldan was arrested for shooting at or from a motor vehicle, possession of a firearm or destructive device by a felon, aggravated fleeing a law enforcement officer, no driver's license, no proof of insurance, and expired registration.
On the afternoon of Monday the 17th, a Clovis police officer that was transporting a suspect was involved in a two-vehicle crash. The incident happened at the intersection of 21st and Prince Street, where Officer Jerry Arellano was headed through a green light on the way to Curry County Adult Detention Center with a woman who was arrested for shoplifting. While crossing the intersection, they were struck by a car that had run a red light, hitting the side of the officer's cruiser. The shoplifting arrestee complained of minor injuries and was taken to a local hospital where she was seen and released shortly after. The suspect, later identified as 69-year-old Mike Bogman, left his vehicle in the nearby Walgreens parking lot and fled the scene. After a short search, Bogman was located and admitted to being the driver who ran the red light in the collision. On November 19th, a warrant was put out for his arrest, and he was brought in. He now faces the following charges: driving without an ignition interlock, leaving the scene of an accident involving vehicle damage, and failure to obey traffic control devices.
The city of Portales is getting a new animal shelter. The grand opening was yesterday and had quite the turnout. So many people from the community went to that event that they had to move the speeches from the staff to the auditorium of the Senior Citizen Center before touring the new shelter. Some great new amenities for the shelter include a kitty enrichment room, where cats can stretch, climb, and play to their heart's content. This enrichment room was made possible by a $30,000 grant approved by the City Council. There are volunteer opportunities at this new location, such as walking the dogs, playing with animals, and helping maintain the building. The opening of the new shelter is a great time to adopt some of the animals they have there right now. So if you're looking for a new furry friend, now is the time to look into it.
Well, I know I've been enjoying the cooler weather this year.
Oh yeah, it's been dropping, haven't y'all noticed?
Yeah, I have.
I know.
And you know, it's gonna get pretty cold tonight. In fact, I would even say it's gonna be freezing. Let's take a look at our 24-hour temperature state. So, as we all know, it's getting pretty cold. Overall, we're going to see that these temperatures are going to begin to drop as we get into tonight. Kind of getting into that freezing area, especially in Gallup at 31. Moving on to Roswell, though, not freezing yet, but getting close, 42. Don't let this fool you. It's going to get even colder as we go into the next week. And as we move in, we're going to see those temperatures rise up. That's all I have for now, but stay tuned as later we'll be taking a look at that Turkey Day travel weather. Back to you, Samantha.
Thank you, Lainey. U.S. Senator Ben Ray Lujan announced that over $202 million in federal funding was secured for New Mexico, including $8,100,000 for Cannon Air Force Base. Lujan also secured $6,938,000 for the 2026 fiscal year for agricultural, rural development, Food and Drug Administration, and related agencies' appropriations bill regarding New Mexico projects. The funds directed toward Cannon Air Force Base are going to be used to improve overall infrastructure, with $80 million being used to construct a 192-bed dormitory and $8,100,000 being used to construct infrastructure for the ADAL Security Forces facility.
Our last News 3 pet of the day comes from our very own Lainey Carlock. This is Samson.
Samson is a 1.5-year-old blue heeler Labrador mix who was adopted from the Clovis Animal Shelter. His favorite food is doggy bacon, and he loves to dig holes outside as well as bark at passerbyers.
Coming up after the break, Lainey will have her full weather report.
But first, here's a look at today's financial market.
My name is Lainey Carlock. Let's take a look at that funky fresh weather. Taking a look at our national radar, we're going to see a little bit of precipitation moving its way into the Nevada, California area, really hitting that Las Vegas and Los Angeles area. And overall, also moving up towards Washington, Chicago, and Atlanta. But speaking of precipitation, I know another state that's going to get it. That's right, New Mexico. Now, you may be seeing this and be like, this ain't nothing to laugh about. It's just a straight line. Like, what? No. Sunday, we're going to see that line go ahead and spike its way up, meaning rain is on the way for New Mexico. There is an extremely likely chance that we are going to get fairly heavy rain coming our way and flood in the streets, possibly in rural counties. So make sure that you keep an eye on those roads, especially with those lows that we talked about earlier coming in. They could cause ice on the road and cause for dangerous conditions. So just keep an eye out and make sure to stay safe. Speaking of road conditions, I said that we would take a look at that Turkey Day travel, so let's do it. Now, as we all know, Thanksgiving is coming on up, and I'm sure a lot of us are planning to travel, maybe to different areas in New Mexico. Well, I can tell you that it's going to be nice and clear. Clear skies throughout for both the lunch and dinner hours, as well as 52 degrees for the daytime and 39 for the night. Now, this is just an average for the state, so it may be higher or lower in different communities, but overall, it's going to be a nice day to travel. Let's take a look at our current temperatures. 47 in Farmington and 46 in Gallup. We can see that blue moving its way into the green, meaning that there is a cold front going to make its way into New Mexico, causing for lower temperatures. As I had stated before, remember, just because they don't seem too low right now, we're about to get really low. As we move into the eastern part, 57 in Roswell with 54 in Portales and Clovis and 52 in Santa Rosa. For tonight's lows, we're going to be seeing them get a little bit low, not too horrendous, with 34 in Gallup and 40 in Farmington, 42 in Albuquerque, and dropping down to 47 in Roswell and 44 in Portales. Tomorrow's highs, 58 in Farmington and 58 in Gallup, with 62 in Albuquerque, 66 in Roswell, and 68 in Portales. Our 7-day forecast is something I always look forward to seeing because of the fact that it shows us what we're going to expect throughout the week. Starting with Roswell, rain on Sunday with mostly clear skies with a little bit of cloudiness, 60s and 50s for our highs and down into the 40s and 30s for our lows, freezing temperatures on Wednesday night. Going to Carlsbad, mostly clear skies with a little bit of cloudiness throughout the week in the 60s and 70s for our highs and down into the 50s and 40s and 30s for our lows, 34 as a real bad low on Wednesday. Tucumcari, a little bit of rain coming on Sunday at a 98% chance up into the 60s and 50s for our highs and down into the lows of 40s and 30s, 30 on Wednesday. And finally, Portales. Rain on Sunday, 60s for our highs and 50s and down into the 40s and 30s for our lows. Overall, not too bad, I would say. Pretty sunny for the most part, but that rain, I'm really looking forward to that rain, especially with our drought.
New Mexico is known for their lack of rain, so I'm really excited for it.
It very much is. We all need to remember to stay safe on the road.
Make sure you stay tuned for Lorenzo's full sports report after the break.
Welcome back, sports fans, to News 3 New Mexico. Since this is our last newscast for the semester, let's wrap this one up. And as always, I'm Lorenzo Solis. Let's take a dive into today's report. And we're off to the races on our first report. Yep, we're talking Formula One. After the Mexican Grand Prix in late October, Lando Norris took first and has a stranglehold on it when he crossed the finish line last week in the Brazilian Grand Prix at Autodromo José Carlos Pache. Following in the second was Andrea Kimi Antonelli. In third is Max Verstappen. In fourth is George Russell. And following closely in fifth is Oscar Piastri. And we don't have to wait long for the next race because the checkered flag is ready to be flown tomorrow at 9 p.m. for the Las Vegas Grand Prix and Las Vegas Street Circuit, with Norris on top with 390 points, and Piastri and Verstappen following not too far behind with 366 and 341 respectively. The Las Vegas Grand Prix can be the tipping point for the season. Kicking us off into the next story, it's the NFL. NFC East tyrant for the season is still kicking it on top, no pun intended. After a divisive game against the Packers, the Eagles were able to make a comeback by beating the Detroit Lions 16-9, keeping their iron fist tightly around the NFC East's neck. Following in second but not close are the Cowboys 4-5, followed by the Commanders 3-8, and in fourth are the Giants 2-9. Moving on to NFC North, the Bears have taken over the top spot 7-3, and you can say they've clawed their way up to first place. Pun very much intended. While the Packers are doing some climbing of their own, as the Green Tide has made it to second in their Northern Conference in 6-3. Following closely are the Lions, and the last few games have been rough for Detroit. Because if you remember last week, the Lions were on top, but the flip-flop of wins to losses this last week knocked them down a few rungs in the top 4, as well as the Vikings still sit cozy in their 4th spot. As for the NFC South, the Buccaneers are still in the top spot with 6-4, but the Panthers are gaining on them for the 3rd spot, and in 4th are the Saints, 2-8. NFC West, after a several long footsie game with the Rams, finally took the top spot 8-2 and ended the tie with the Seahawks, as they take 2nd spot 7-3, and the 49ers 7-4, and in 4th, Cardinals 3-7. Tipping off to the next story is the NBA. The Western Conference's top dog is the OKC Thunder, and as they continue their 7-game winning streak, they hold the 1st place spot with a whopping 15-1. Following in their 2nd are the Denver Nuggets 11-3, followed by Rockets in 3rd with a 10-3, and the Lakers 11-4, and the Spurs in 5th with 11-4 as well. On the Eastern Conference, and the Pistons are 13-2, and they're on a tear as they are on par with OKC in terms of wins to losses. And following in game are the Raptors 10-5. The Knicks are close 9-5, and in 4th are the Knicks on the heels of Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, both East and West conferences have some stepping up to do if they want to catch up to the Thunder and the Pistons, in terms of numbers anyway. But it's not always a numbers game, and we've been shown even the top dog can be all bark whenever playoffs start rolling our way. Eastern New Mexico University has announced that the head football coach, Kelly Lee, has been relieved of his duties effective immediately. The university will begin a national search for new leadership to guide Greyhound football into its next chapter. I appreciate Coach Lee's service and his years of commitment to Eastern New Mexico University, said Director of Athletics Kevin Feit after evaluating the overall program, and I believe new leadership is necessary to the position Greyhound football for sustained competitiveness and long-term success. ENMU has appointed Andrew McGraw as interim head coach. Feit will meet with the team to outline the immediate plan and discuss the vision for the program. As the search begins, ENMU will share updates with the public and media as search process advances. Well, that is all the sports I have for you for this semester, and this also marks the end of my time as an undergrad here at KENW. It's been an amazing last few years, and I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity KENW has offered me in my short time here as a student at Eastern New Mexico University. I thank all the wonderful folks at home for watching, and the hardworking folks here in the studio, and their amazing dedication, talent, and work ethic that make this show possible. Once again, I'm Lorenzo Solis, and don't worry, we'll be back at the desk with Drake and Samantha one last time for this semester, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. On Monday the 24th, Dr. Peter Grubasic will be presenting the Winter Steel Band Concert. This event is free and open to the public and will run from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Buchanan Hall. So get ready to be transported to the sunny shores and lively atmosphere of the Caribbean with an unforgettable night of music. The ENMU Steel Band continues to bring the joy and excitement of steel pan music to audiences, showcasing the talents of ENMU's instrumental music students and enriching the musical landscape of the university. This event promises to be one for the books, so make sure you can show out. Once again, this event will be on the 24th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Music Building here on campus. The Eastern New Mexico University's Runnels Gallery has announced a call for artwork for the 2026 University Jurd exhibition. The gallery puts on this exhibition annually as an opportunity for students to submit artwork for adjudication by a professional artist in a competitive environment. The selected pieces will be displayed at the Runnels Gallery on campus inside of the Golden Student Success Center from February 17th to March 20th. All students are encouraged to submit their artworks as entry is free and cash prizes will be awarded for those who are selected as well. All forms of media are welcome, including paintings, drawings, photography, watercolor, ceramics, textiles, and more. Students can review submission guidelines and enter the exhibition by visiting enmu.edu/artshow. The deadline for submissions is Friday, December 19th.
A 24-inch water main break in Rio Rancho is causing traffic delays as repairs are underway. City officials have stated that the residents can expect low water pressures while repairs are taking place. The water main break is located close to Lincoln Middle School and heavily affected the school, which prompted school officials to send students home early, around 2:20 a.m. The Rio Rancho Public Schools are also canceling classes at Rio Rancho Elementary and Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary because of the water main break. Yesterday, Native Pride dancer Larry Yazzie brought culture to life through dance, music, and storytelling in the Cub Ballroom. He opened with flute and shared the meaning behind his regalia and dances, then brought the crowd into the experience with interactive performances. It was an amazing night full of culture and history, and we were lucky to have the opportunity to experience this here on campus. If you missed this event, you have the chance to see his amazing performance and other Native Pride dancers during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year.
Have you ever thought about adding a new pet to the family? Well, Clovis Animal Shelter is hosting a special pet adoption event. This event will take place tomorrow, the 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. At this event, you may be able to qualify for a reduced adoption fee and take home an amazing pet of your own. And speaking of amazing pets, you could adopt today's Shelter Pets of the Week. They are Bella, a 3-year-old cat who loves to play, eat treats, and wants all of the cuddles, and Sarah, who is just a few years old and wants all the love and attention she can get. If you are interested in an amazing friend of your own, you can visit the Clovis Animal Shelter at 2203 East Brady Street in Clovis or contact them at 575-769-7893. Coming up after the break, we will have one final look at the weather.
So make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome back. Lainey, can we have one final look at that weather for our Thanksgiving travelers?
Absolutely. I would love to take another look at that weather. Starting off with Santa Rosa. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A little bit of cloudiness on Friday and Sunday with in the 60s and dropping down to 55 on Sunday. Carlsbad. Cloudiness on Saturday, but in the 60s for the rest of this weekend. And Portales. A little bit of cloudiness on Saturday and in the 60s for this weekend, 64 being a low for them on Friday. Overall, pretty sunny weather, but we do know that that rain is going to make its way in on Sunday for a lot of New Mexico.
Do y'all have any special Thanksgiving Day plans that you guys are going to go to?
I'm planning on traveling back to Roswell, and as we know, it's going to be a pretty nice day for travel. One more look at that would be 54 for the daytime and down to 39 for the nighttime. Again, I would like to state that that can vary throughout the state, as some places will get a little bit of cold and some states may be a little hotter than others, so do be aware of that. But overall, nice weather for traveling on Thanksgiving. So I am excited about that. Should be good road conditions across the state.
Heck yeah. What about you, Sam?
You know, I don't think I'm excited to make my Thanksgiving meals.
No?
That's my favorite part, but no, I don't really travel outside of the local area.
See, I'm planning to go to Socorro to go see all the in-laws. They have a new baby that they're showing off, and I haven't got to meet her yet. So I'm really excited to look forward to that. The food, of course, is always a plus when it comes to Thanksgiving.
Well, as we know,
Definitely.
it should be nice in that part of the state for that time being. A little bit higher than the rest of the state, but still nice.
I'm really looking
Well,
forward to it.
I wish both of you safe travels then.
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us here at News 3 New Mexico. Like I said, this was the final broadcast of the semester, but you can join us right back here in February. To round off this semester, for you YouTube viewers at home, we have one final. Take a look at this.
What's being described as a first for animal welfare employees used to strange situations, a wild owl that fell into a concrete mixer is now on the mend thanks to painstaking rehab efforts. The great horned owl was brought to the Best Friends Animal Sanctuary in Utah after being discovered inside of a concrete mixer. Roughly a quarter of the bird of prey was covered in the hardened concrete, and according to People.com, for 6 days, the team would bathe the sedated owl for 20 minutes and meticulously scrub the gritty, hardened substance from its face, chest, and right wing. The staff reports this was the first case of its kind in the society's 40-year history, and it was a success. Don't let the owl scowl fool you. The bird is on the mend and has since graduated to an outdoor enclosure where the team says it has successfully made some short flights, a good sign of its recovery. Another comeback story, this one for a vintage vehicle made newly famous for all the wrong reasons. This 1977 Volkswagen bus became a symbol of survival when it was discovered standing amid the charred remains of the tragic Palisades wildfires in California earlier this year. The classic vehicle had survived the fires but sustained damage in the form of busted windows, melted plastic, burnt paint, and heavy smoke damage. So, Volkswagen of America stepped in and worked some restoration magic to bring the magic bus back to life. According to Car and Driver, it took roughly 900 parts and some 2,000 hours of labor, but the blue bus, named Azul, is now back and its owner is blue no more.
After everything she's been through, you could tell they put so much care, but this is better than I could imagine.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Thank you so much for watching.
Join us back here in February.
Have a good night.